trace it off on another piece of paper. Remember to mark the vanishing point of the dart and your dart legs. Whether or not there's a punch there, you can go into
Maybe I have to get a different arm.
Then taking your ruler, you want to fill in your, I punched it in the gap, can't see. So essentially, I've cut the paper, I've outlined it. It wants you to cross mark your waist, remove the sloper from the apex. I'm just sort of showing you how easy it is, but can you even see it? From the apex, measure down a 1/2 inch. You could measure down 1 inch if you wanted to, but basically we're dropping the dart a 1/2 inch. So measure down, find the center point, and that's where you're going to draw your dart legs to. But yours is already marked on here, so you can certainly go by that marking. You don't have to adhere to that. Again, this book was written in the past, and so styles are slightly different. You can adhere to this if you want something a little more vintagey, but that, you can follow that one. And then what you're going to do is from the apex, measure down the 1/2 inch, dot, draw a line from dot to dart line cross marks. True all lines. So basically, if you have an older pattern, your side seam is going to be a straight line. Shoulder seam is a straight line, so this is what it's meaning by true all lines. Overextend the line so that you know you have the exact point at which the armhole and the shoulder intersect. Same thing with the underarm. So there's the precise point at our waist and side seam. It's not some sort of made up. If for some reason your center front is not a straight line because of the cutting, then you can make it a straight line. Make sure that that's 90 degrees at the neckline too. Did everybody get a handout? Because I took one. To plan for the extension, true all lines cross mark. To plan for the extension from center front, measure out desired amount based on the size of your buttonhole. Illustrated is 1 inch. Draw a line parallel to the center. So we're saying that we have 1 inch. So at the center front, I'm going to add an extension of 1 inch for my extension. On shoulder, measure in 1.5 inches from the neckline and cross mark. So now we jump down to this sort of picture here, but they're measuring in 1.5 from the neckline and 1/2 from the shoulder. So measure in 1.5. It does say a 1/2 inch, doesn't it? And then a 1/2 inch here. Again, this is not a law or a rule. It's not, I don't want to say it's not a rule, but it doesn't, if you want your shoulder seam to be smaller, you can certainly come in more, but then remember that when you're doing facings, it probably would be an all-in-one facing and not a two-piece facing, which is what they're illustrating in here. So the neckline, it's usually a point, but it is slightly curved and it can be at whatever desired length you want. So it seems to me that it's in line with that 1/2 inch below. So if you just find a point at your center front and say that that is the end, or that is going to be the length of the neckline from here to there. This is so dumb because it needs to go higher. Then you can do that. It doesn't have to be that specific. If you want it higher, you can make it higher. It's up to you. So then taking this ruler, you can draw a line from the shoulder to the extension, the end of the extension. So there's my new neckline. Can you see it? If you wanted your neckline to be like that, you can draw that on. But it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop here. It stops at the edge of the garment. Just be aware of that.
And how far is that from the top of the neckline?
This is 1.5 inches. 1.5, just like in the handout, and then this is a 1/2 inch. At the armhole, you're going to measure down 1 inch. So all of the information, if you didn't want to read all of that, is in this little picture here. You have a 1 inch extension, 1 inch there, 1/2 inch there, 1.5, and then a line to whatever the length is that you want for your buttonholes. So at the bottom of the armhole, you're going to do 1 inch. And now the trick comes with our French curve. We're going to curve this around so that it's going to look something like this. It gets wider as it goes down. This is not facing, although this is exactly how you would do a facing. This is going to be what the armhole will become. Does anybody have any questions on that?
No.
I'm going to see if there's a longer arm.